every level of an oil field worker's career. You're 19, standing on a gravel pad in West Texas at 4 a.m., wearing fire-resistant coveralls that don't fit and steel-toed boots that already hurt. Your hourly is $22, and you've been awake for 22 of the last 36 hours. 2 decades later, a Houston-based operator hands you a separation package worth $1.4 million for a company you didn't found but ran. Between those two moments sits an industry where the fatality rate runs about 7 times the national average, where 4.6 workers per 100,000 get killed on the job, and where the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics counted 470 oil and gas extraction worker deaths between 2014 and 2019 alone. This is every level of being an oil field worker in America and what it actually costs to climb. If you like breakdowns of how careers actually progress, like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Level 1. The roustabout. You're 19. The job ad on Indeed said no experience required, $22 an hour, hitch work, Permian Basin. You drove 14 hours from Louisiana with $300 in your bank account and a duffel bag. Your first day, the company man points at a 90-foot pipe rack and tells you to organize it by diameter. You spend 9 hours in 104-degree heat moving steel that weighs more than you do. Your hands blister through the gloves by lunch. The schedule is 2 weeks on, 1 week off. 12-hour shifts minimum, often 14. Your camp room is a single-wide trailer split with 3 other guys. The mattress is plastic. The shower runs cold by 6 a.m. because the night crew already used it. You eat at the company chow hall where the food is free, and roughly 4,000 calories a day because the work demands it. You learn 3 words first. Tongs, slips, Kelly. You learn them by being yelled at when you grab the wrong one. The driller, a guy named Travis with 2 missing fingers, doesn't explain anything twice. He tells you the roustabout's job is to keep the pad clean, the equipment moving, and the pipe stacked. Trust comes after. He says it once. Your first hitch grosses $3,696 before taxes. The check feels enormous until you look at the deductions. Federal, state, FICA. The $300 a week the company takes for housing if you're not on a unionized rig. You clear about $2,400. You wire half to your mother. You spend $180 at the gas station on Red Bull and chewing tobacco. The math is the first thing that bothers you. Then it gets worse. On day 8 of your second hitch, a supply truck driver backs into a tool shed and you're the closest body. You spend 6 hours sorting bent fittings in the sun. You don't get hazard pay. You get a Gatorade. The USBLS reports 51 oil and gas extraction worker fatalities in 2022 alone. Most are roustabouts and floor hands. Most are men under 30. Most are killed by being struck by equipment, falling from height, or caught in rotating machinery. You read this on your phone in the trailer. You don't tell your mom. By the end of your 6th hitch, you've kept your mouth shut, your boots tied, and your eyes on the driller. He nods at you on a Tuesday in October. That's the whole performance review. Ready for Level 2. Level 2. The floor hand. You're 21. They moved you off the pad and onto the rig floor. Your wage jumps to $28 an hour, and with overtime past 40 plus your hitch bonus, you're grossing about $95,000 a year if you work 11 months. The national median wage for oil and gas extraction workers is roughly $59,290. You're already above it. You're a worm now. That's what they call the new floor hand. The job is on the drill floor itself, working under the derrickman, running the iron roughneck, throwing chain, racking pipe, watching the mud pumps, reading the weight indicator. Every connection you make on a triple stand of drill pipe takes about 90 seconds. You make 30 of them on a slow shift, 80 on a fast one. A guy named Dustin, 6 years in, walks you through your first trip out of hole. Trip means pulling the entire drill string out of the ground to change the bit. 10,000 feet of pipe broken into stands, racked vertically in the derrick. He tells you the rule. Hands up means stop. Hands down means go. Eyes on the driller, always. Never on your phone. Never on the sky. Never on the woman at the gate. He doesn't smile when he says it. 3 months in, you let your right glove drift toward the slips while a stand was being set. The slips bit 2 inches of leather and almost took your fingers. The driller killed the rotation. The whole rig went silent. You stood there shaking. He didn't yell. He told you to walk to the doghouse, drink water, and come back when you could breathe. He never mentioned it again. That's worse. You learn the smell of a kick before you learn the math of one. Gas in the mud returns. The mud weight changes. The flow line gets too active. The driller starts making decisions in seconds that the company man will second guess for hours. You learn that the rig is a machine designed to make holes, but the people on it are a machine designed to make decisions. Both can fail. In April 2010, the Deepwater Horizon killed 11 men. You weren't there. You weren't even out of high school, but every safety meeting on every rig in America still references it. The night shift driller has a tattoo on his forearm with 11 names. He doesn't talk about it. He just shows up at 5:50 p.m. and tags out the day driller at 6 sharp. By month 14, your hands have stopped bleeding. By month 18, you can change a bit in 45 minutes. By month 24, the driller hands you the brake for the first time during a connection and watches you set weight on bottom without making the bit jump. He grunts. That's a promotion. Level 3. The derrickman. You're 24. Your wage is $32 an hour. With your hitch bonus, overtime, and the derrickman premium, you're at roughly $115,000 a year. You climb a 90-foot ladder to a steel platform called the monkey board at the start of every shift. You work in a harness, 2 hands free, racking 90-foot stands of drill pipe into the fingerboard while the driller pulls them out of the hole. The job is choreography in the sky. Every stand weighs about 1,500 pounds. You guide them in with a tail rope and your knee. You wear a fall arrest harness rated for 5,000 pounds of arrest force. You also watch the mud system, which is the second half of the job. The mud is the blood of the well. Wrong density and the well kicks. Wrong viscosity and the cuttings don't lift. You read the shaker screens, the centrifuge output, the pit volume. The mud engineer comes by twice a shift. The rest of the time, it's you. In December, the temperature drops to 8 degrees in North Dakota. The pipe ices over. You climb the ladder anyway because the well is making hole and the driller doesn't want to lose circulation. Your fingers go numb in the second hour. You drop a stabbing board pin from 70 feet. It misses the floor hand below by about 3 feet. The rig stops. The company man calls the tool pusher. You sit in the doghouse for an hour while they decide whether to fire you. They don't. They send you back up. You climb the ladder shaking and finish the trip. You learn what the derrickman knows that nobody else knows. The well talks. The pumps tell you when the formation changes. The torque on the top drive tells you when the bit is dulling. The mud return rate tells you when something is wrong before any gauge on the driller's screen does. You're the second pair of eyes on the well, and the driller listens to you because he has to. A guy named Reagan, a derrickman with 19 years on land rigs and 4 years offshore in the Gulf, tells you the trick at this level. Stop counting hitches, start counting wells. He says he can name every well he's worked on, the spud date, the total depth, the bit count, and which crew member he didn't trust on it. He has 312 wells in his head. You start your own list that night in a notebook. Level 4, the driller. You're 28. Your wage is $42 an hour. Your annual run rate with hitch bonuses, Kelly bonuses on land rigs, and overtime is about $145,000. You sit in the driller's chair, also called the doghouse cab, with 3 monitors in front of you, a joystick for the top drive, and a brake handle that controls 200 tons of drill string hanging off a hook above your head. You're responsible for the entire drill floor. 4 to 6 men work under you. Every connection, every trip, every bit change runs through your decisions. The tool pusher manages the rig. The company man represents the operator. You make the hole. Your first well as driller is a 12,000-foot horizontal in the Eagle Ford. You spud on a Tuesday morning. By Friday at 3 a.m., you're at 8,200 feet, and the bit starts twisting off trend. The directional driller wants to slide. The mud weight is climbing. The torque on the top drive spikes red for 2 seconds, and you make a call. You pull off bottom, you circulate bottoms up. You catch a 50-barrel kick before it reaches the surface. The well control system slams shut. You blow down through the choke manifold. 45 minutes later, the well is dead and you're alive. The tool pusher comes up the stairs at 4:15 a.m. and tells you that decision saved the rig. The company man who has been awake on the phone with Houston says nothing to you. He calls the office. The next morning, your tool pusher hands you a $5,000 spot bonus and a slip of paper that says you've been added to the company's high-performance driller list. You don't sleep that day. You sit on the steps of your trailer and watch the sunrise and shake. You learn the hidden math of the chair. A drilling rig burns roughly $30,000 to $45,000 a day in spread cost when you include the rig, the contractors, the directional service, the mud, the bits, and the supervisors. Every hour you save the operator is money. Every hour you lose them is your name on a report. The good drillers run 30% faster than the average. The great ones run 50% faster. You stop thinking in connections per hour. You start thinking in dollars per foot. Level 5. The tool pusher. You're 33. Your annual is $185,000 base with a $40,000 to $60,000 bonus tied to rig performance. You're salaried now. The hitch is still 2 and 1, but the work follows you home. Your phone rings at 2 a.m. when something breaks. It rings at 5 a.m. when the company man wants a number. It rings at 11 p.m. when the directional driller is 2 hours late. You manage the entire rig. 2 drillers, 2 derrickmen, 4 floor hands, the mechanics, the electricians, the camp boss, the safety man, and the day-to-day relationship with the operator. The rig itself is worth $25 to $45 million depending on the spec, and the contract day rate runs $25,000 to $45,000. Your job is to keep that rig turning to the right. Every hour of non-productive time gets logged, coded, and sent to Houston. You stop carrying tools, you carry a tablet, a radio, and a notebook. You walk the floor every 2 hours, but you don't run the break anymore. You read morning reports. You handle BOP tests, casing runs, and rig moves. You hire and fire, you sign timesheets, you attend the morning safety meeting, and you give it sometimes. Marco, a tool pusher with 22 years in the patch, tells you the trick at this level is fewer heroics and more documentation. The driller who saves the well is replaceable. The tool pusher who has the kick log, the BOP test, the weight indicator strip chart, and the daily drilling report all timestamped and signed is not. He tells you the company man is not your friend, but he is your only ally. The operator is the customer. The contractor pays your check. You sit between them, and the seat is uncomfortable on purpose. In March, your rig has a high-pressure gas event. Nobody dies. Nobody is even hurt. The well is shut in within 90 seconds. The investigation runs 6 weeks. You spend most of it in a conference room in Midland answering questions from 3 lawyers, 2 engineers, and 1 OSHA investigator. You're cleared. The driller who made the call gets a commendation. The company man who second-guessed it gets reassigned. You learn that paperwork outlives memory. Level 6, the drilling superintendent and the exit. You're 39. The operator hires you out of the contractor. Your salary is $245,000 base with a $75,000 to $120,000 annual bonus tied to wells delivered, days versus depth curves, and HSE metrics. You manage 4 to 8 rigs across a basin. Your office is in Midland, Houston, or Denver. You're home most nights. You haven't worn fire-resistant coveralls in 11 months. You participate in well design. You sit in AFE meetings where authorization for expenditure documents authorize $8 million to $14 million per well. You review pore pressure plots, casing programs, mud weight schedules, and bit selection. You sign off on every well your rigs drill. When something goes wrong, your name is on the incident report. When something goes right, the operator's drilling manager gets the credit. You learn the politics of the corporate office. The completions team blames you when their frack job underperforms. The reservoir team blames you when the well doesn't hit the target zone. The HSE team blames you when a crew member trips on the catwalk. You stop defending. You start documenting. You're 47. The market is good. The operator you work for, a midstream and upstream independent, gets acquired by a Houston-based major in a $4.2 billion all-stock deal. The integration team puts your role on a list. You sign a separation package. 2 years salary, accelerated equity vest, healthcare for 18 months. Your wire clears at $1.4 million. You stand in the parking lot of the Energy Center on a Tuesday in November. The lobby plaque has the new logo on it. Your badge no longer scans. You drive home. The garage has a hard hat on the workbench from 2007. It's stained with mud, scratched on the brim, and the rig number is written on the inside in Sharpie. Rig 184, Patterson, UTI, Reeves County. You signed it the day you left the rig for the office. You never wore it again. The expected ending of this story is Master Driller. The actual ending is HSE Compliance Manager with field credibility. The most cinematic part of your career was the middle. The 4 a.m. trips out of hole, the kick on the Eagle Ford well, the night the temperature dropped to 8 degrees, and you climbed the ladder anyway. The top of the ladder pays better and feels less like the trade. The HR rep who handed you the separation packet has never been on a rig. The lawyer who wrote the non-compete has never seen a pit gain. The new VP who'll run the basin next has never thrown chain on a connection at 3 a.m. with the wind blowing 40 miles an hour. The USBLS projects oil and gas extraction employment to decline about 5% over the next decade as automation and rig efficiency replace bodies on the floor. Right now, there are roughly 137,000 oil and gas extraction workers in America. There were 200,000 in 2014. The bust took 60,000 of them out, and they didn't come back. The ones who did come back are older, faster, and more cynical. The kid showing up to the gravel pad in West Texas tomorrow at 4 a.m. is making $22 an hour, the same wage you started at 28 years ago in nominal dollars. In real dollars, he's making less. You drive past a rig on Highway 285 on your way to the airport 6 months later. You can see the crown block from a mile out, lit up against the dark. You count the lights without thinking. You read the rig number on the substructure. You know the contractor by the paint. You don't slow down. You don't pull over. You keep driving. 22 years ago, you made $22 an hour. Today, the wire was for $1.4 million. The number is real. The hands are the same.